Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Eye on Port. Eye on Port is brought to you by Star Assurance, UT Logistics, also the Ghana Community Network Systems and the Royal Bank. Now, if you want the best logistic company in this country, it is UT Logistics. Also, with your marine industry, if you're looking for the best insurance company for your marine activities, Star Assurance should always be your choice. Well, this week we focus on the transit trade in this country, and the American government has applauded Ghana for fighting to ensure smooth trade within the West African sub-region. Let's find out why. In the year 2014, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority announced a significant reduction in its transit traffic, which dipped from 620,000 tons in 2013 to 577,227 tons in 2014, a drop of 42,773 tons. As part of a research conducted by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority to uncover the reasons behind the fall in traffic, the following findings were made. The National Economic Outlook presented a huge challenge for the ports. The national currency, which grew very weak against major trading partners, had a significant toll on the cost of importation. And until this year, the axle load compliance of 60 tons per truck of 6 axles, as introduced on Ghana's roads as against 68 tons in competing francophone countries of Côte d'Ivoire, Togo, and Dakar, was identified as a huge barrier. Unlike Ghana, Côte d'Ivoire and Dakar have effective railway system that connects them to the transit countries and other cheaper means of transport for the transit trade. The imposition of taxes like VAT on transit services and road user tax on the activities of Goro boys at the borders also escalated the cost of using the Ghanaian corridor. These factors combined dealt a devastating blow to the corridor. Another alarming threat that has emerged is the frequent incidents of extortion by some members of certain agencies operating on the Ghanaian corridor. These include the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, the Ghana Immigration Service, and most especially the Ghana Police Service. This moved a composition of a team from GPHA, which called on the Inspector General of Police to meet with him and other commissioners of police to urge them to intervene to address the situation and save the transit trade in Ghana, as well as the image of Ghana's police service and the country at large. The IGP expressed dismay about the happenings on the corridor and, together with his commissioners, pledged support to deal with the menace urgently.
We want to look at everybody has a load somewhere. The next thing is customs, the next one is police. What is all this? All this. And nobody is saying anything about it. Nobody is saying anything about it. It's okay. For us, we are ready as early as tomorrow. We have our men ready to accompany these vehicles, and they must be armed. We are very much committed to it, and I said as soon as tomorrow we want.
The IGP himself has personally engaged in road campaigns randomly and in some cases clandestinely, visiting the transit corridors himself and showing videos of police officers extorting monies from transit drivers and cautioning them to desist from such acts or face the severities of the law themselves. Subsequently, a joint committee was set up by the IGP that comprised the head of the MTTU, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Borderless Alliance, the National Facilitation Committee, and Ghana's Shippers Authority to address the issues of harassment and extortion on the Ghanaian corridor. Indeed, it was subsequently revealed at the committee stages that security agencies on the transit corridors, particularly the police service and Ghana Customs, engage in massive extortion and bribery on the transit corridors of Ghana and the clearance chain of the transit traffic, hence dwindling the transit trade in Ghana. However, in a swift and non-shilly-shally manner, and based on its own video evidences as well as persistent reports, the Ghana Police Service, led by the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Ahmed Al-Hassan, has directed that with immediate effect, policemen along the economic community of West African states' transit corridors should not conduct any checks on transit cargo and, quote, any police officer or officers found to have gone contrary to this directive will face the full rigors of the law, unquote, the directive warned. The joint committee, chaired by the National MTTU Commander ASP Awuni and facilitated by the Director of Operations of the Ghana Police, COP Kudalo, and the Director General of Public Affairs, COP Ampabene, have also agreed that the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority and other agencies will lead the way to organize sensitization workshops for all regional police commanders and their deputies, divisional and district commanders of the police, and the MTTU of the police, as well as the transit truck drivers and traders. In addition, Borderless Alliance, West Africa Trade Hub, and other stakeholders on the joint committee will be engaging in other sensitization programs to make the Ghana corridors the best place to do business ahead of its competitors.
It is the responsibility of customs officers to check documents of those items, not police officers. And I have several times told police officers they don't have the right, except somebody has given you information that probably that vehicle coming is diverting, and so assist.
According to the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Service, 82% of revenue generated by customs to government comes from the port of Tema. It is in line with this that the move by the Ghana Police Service to call their men to order in order to protect the port business and the country's revenue-generating source is commendable and worth emulated by other agencies to grow the port business and make Ghana the gateway to the sub-region. What do you think removing barriers within the sub-region is a good thing that is worth applauding?
Well, you know, the cost of transport and of moving goods in West Africa is one of the highest in the world. And I think the barriers to trade, the road checks, the time and the cost at all those different stops along the route is a key barrier to trade. It makes things more expensive, and therefore that cost gets passed on to the consumer. So anything we can do to reduce the barriers will increase trade, will increase food security, and will increase the well-being of the people in West Africa.
I'm sure that you've worked within the West African sub-region for some time. You know the countries, and you've made a bit of assessment of the system. What have you observed?
Well, I've observed some changes. This year, for example, ECOWAS started the Common External Tariff, which is a step towards regional integration and really a free trade area within ECOWAS. So that means that things like staple foods now can move freely in the region with no tariffs. Yet we see that some countries are still, charging people for things that shouldn't be charged. So I think one of the things USAID has been working to do through our Feed the Future program is to try to help reduce those barriers to trade. Well, for one thing, food security in West Africa is dependent upon trade. It's dependent upon food moving across borders from areas where it's produced to areas where it's needed. For example, the things that are produced in the Sahel, like livestock, say, they come to the coastal cities to bring meat to the populations there. So if they have many impediments and even lose animals because, movement of live products is even harder than movement of packaged things, then it brings up the cost for everyone.
What link does the American government have as far as trade is concerned within the sub-region? What's the link? Why so much interest? I know that in the past there used to be the African Growth and Opportunity Act that countries like ours were taking advantage of. Why do you have so much interest?
Well, the African Growth and Opportunities Act is still there, and I think many Africans are still taking advantage of exporting goods to the U.S. under that. But I think we have interest in intra-regional trade. The international community spends a lot of money each year on humanitarian assistance because of, food deficits. And it's not necessary to have those deficits here. If things can move in the region, then there's plenty of food. There's plenty of food. 40% of the food that's produced here gets lost through post-harvest losses.
Yeah.
And so if it can be properly packaged, processed, and moved, we could reduce that. But even on a wider scale than that, if you have trade and commerce among the countries, if you have a strong regional integration in the ECOWAS region, then it's better for everybody. There's more jobs, there's more opportunities. It's, we really get excited about the idea of reducing the barriers to trade, of, making it easier for people to move goods, because the way the ecological zones of your region are set up, you need to move goods. It's not easy to grow things like, livestock right here on the coast. They're grown we're up north where it's very dry.
Yeah.
They need to come down here. If they don't come down here, you don't have as much meat as maybe you would like to have.
The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority is one of those institutions, for instance, that is pushing extremely hard. A lot of campaigns have gone on, a lot of evidences and support, liaising with other institutions like the Borderless Alliance, the police and the customs and all of that. What would you say to those institutions that are pushing hard for some of these barriers to be taking off from the regional trade?
I would say keep pushing. But also I would say that, every organization who has people who trade, including producer organizations, including processing organizations, transporter organizations, they all, need to advocate on behalf of their members, because their members are all facing the same types of challenges. Yeah. So I think it's great when organizations champion and advocate for their members to reduce the barriers to doing business in the region.
Per your observation, what are the other things you have seen that you wish it's also taking off, or measures are put in place to address them, aside removing the barriers on the transit corridor?
Well, I think as we talked about policies, there's been policies agreed to at regional level, and it comes down to implementation at the national level. So I would encourage the countries themselves to take these seriously. The ECOWAS trade liberalization scheme, for example, the different, all the different policies related to seeds, related to fertilizer, related to movement of goods. There's a thick book on the common external tariff. All of these things need to be implemented.
Iron Port returns pretty shortly.
To your amazing grace, your amazing grace. And there's something about the way your love shines on my face. Oh no, I can never get enough of you.
Star Assurance, creating smiles since 1985. Let go. Let's celebrate 30 years of solid partnership. Star Assurance, your solid partner.
I'll take care of you.
There's a place in my heart that makes me feel that you're the one. It's a place I wanna be, 'cause satisfaction guaranteed. From strength to strength you help me grow, 'cause you're there for me. And teach me how to be independent, 'cause you
The Royal Bank.
The Royal Bank.
The Royal Bank.
Banking with transparency, commitment to integrity.
Royal Bank.
The Royal Bank. The Royal Bank.
The Royal Bank. Real banking, real difference.
UT Logistics have come to stay. When you approach a job like the way we approach it, each job is unique. Each client is unique. We provide the best service in the system. We have best staff. We are very fast. We are quick, and we save customers a lot of money. We are very transparent as well, and we approach every job with professionalism and the seriousness that it requires.
We move on to port expansion, and a number of expansion activities are going on within the ports of Ghana, Tema, Takoradi alike. Let me say quickly that the Takoradi Port management want to tell the entire general public that, listen, in spite of the port expansion going on there, operations are also going on. Those who want to import through the Takoradi Port, business is ongoing. Those who want to export out of the Takoradi Port, business is also still ongoing. Let's take a listen to some of the activities and news happening within the maritime and port industry. In line with measures to ensure adequate protection of transit cargo, Ghana Community Network Systems, an information and communication technology company, says the best measures have been put in place to ensure effective delivery of transit goods to and from the ports of Ghana through the corridor to their respective destinations.
We have the transit monitoring system, and I think that the thing with the transit monitoring is it alerts officers, because it will tell you once a vehicle has gone outside a particular corridor. So if you say you're going to Paga, for instance, we know the route you're supposed to use to go to Paga. If you go outside the corridor, it sends an alarm, so the transit monitoring system sends an alert that the truck has gone outside the corridor, and this alert goes to customs, it goes to national security. I think BNI is also aware. And so it's more about strengthening the enforcement unit for them to monitor these alerts and make sure that they follow up and see where the vehicles are going to.
GCNet says electronic processing and tracking of cargoes whose final destination is outside Ghana is an innovation that has eliminated the human escort of goods and has reduced the diversion of goods onto the local market, thereby enhancing controls and trade facilitation.
We're introducing a get-in, get-out feature for trucks. We are capturing the database on trucks, and so the driver, the vehicle, the weight the truck can take, and then we're able to track the truck as it leaves the port into the warehouse, so that if that truck the customs does not confirm that the truck has discharged the goods in the warehouse, it can't be used for any customs transaction again. And so that check is there. So if I'm warehousing, for instance, the minute I leave the port, I have to be confirmed in the warehouse that I'm going to by a customs officer to confirm receipt of the goods. Otherwise, the truck cannot be used again, and then that person cannot do any transaction unless that warehousing entry has been closed. And so you cannot take goods out of the port, and your account remains open. And so it forces importers to do the correct thing. The training, we're doing it now, and we should be going live with it.
The Ghana Port and Harbours Authority, GPHA, has signed an agreement with the Meridian Port Services, MPS, for a concession to equip the Tema Harbour with new facilities and expand its capacity to enable it to accommodate more cargo.
We have now witnessed the signing of a binding agreement between the government and MPS for the development of one of the biggest port projects ever in the history of Africa. So this is truly a landmark event.
To be executed at a cost of $1.5 billion within 3 years, the project will have the capacity of 3.5 million 20 equivalent unit in line with the GPHA's master plan for the Tema Port.
The concession agreement is for a period of 35 years, including the unexpired 9 years of the existing agreement. The parties acknowledge that the expansion project will require the improvement of the road network, including the upgrade of the road access between Tema Port and the Accra-Tema motorway, and the upgrade of the Accra-Tema motorway to 6 lanes with slip roads.
The multi-purpose facility will include a new 1.4-kilometer quay for 4 container berths with 16-meter draft and a 3.85 kilometers breakwater within dredged port access channel 19 meters deep and 250 meters wide to accommodate larger vessels.
Now, by the time the first, second berth of the new facility is done, by the time they start moving to the third berth, the existing berths 1 and 2, that's where MPS is occupying now, will be handed over to GPHA as part of our general cargo traffic, which will be used for rural traffic as well as general cargo.
The project, which is the first of its kind since the construction of the port in 1962, will also include the construction of a railway terminal for the transportation of containers by rail to and from the port.
For West Africa, and indeed from Nouakchott to Mombasa, including the Cape, that is Cape Town, Port of Elizabeth, as well as Durban, we are number one. We are number one in productivity. And on the west coast here, we are number one in terms of volume. Of course, Nigeria is bigger, but the three ports of Nigeria, none of them is bigger than MPS or Tema Port. So basically, we are already in the lead. And what we're doing today is taking a far bigger leap into the future and strengthening our position as a country, Ghana.
We're also excited that we have had a very healthy relationship with MPS since 2004 when we partnered us, and the phenomenal growth that we have experienced from a very humble beginning of 200 TUs, now we are around 800, and the challenge is that we want to achieve about, we are now around 800,000, and we hope to achieve about 3 million. That is a very big challenge. And we believe that with the expansion and all others that go with it, we are able, together with our partners, working in tandem to achieve this very Herculean task that we have set for ourselves.
The Accra-Tema motorway will also be upgraded to 6 lanes with slip roads to enhance trade activities from and to the port. The concessionary agreement, which is for a period of 35 years, include an unexpired 9 years of an existing agreement and will also reclaim 120 hectares of land. Meanwhile, the Takoradi Port expansion, which is ongoing, continues to attract potential investors from around the world. The latest of such group is a delegation from JP Morgan Group, who have visited the port of Takoradi to ascertain the progress and possible investment opportunities there. Currently, the 700-meter foundation for the bulk jetty in the ongoing Takoradi Port expansion is underway. Out of the 1,500 blocks needed for the project, the first 65 have been constructed. In the meantime, the management of Takoradi Port wishes to inform the general public that the port is fully operational 24 hours on a daily basis as port business and operations are ongoing. Thus, the public should discard any rumor to the effect that the port is closed down due to the ongoing expansion works there.
There ain't no limitations to your amazing grace, your amazing grace. And there's something about the way your love shines on my face. Oh no, I can never get enough of you.
Star Assurance, creating smiles since 1985. Let go. Let's celebrate 30 years of solid partnership. Star Assurance, your solid partner.
I'll take care of you.
Banking with transparency, commitment to integrity. The Royal Bank, the Royal Bank.
The Royal Bank, real banking, real difference.
If you are involved in logistics, if your work involves logistics and you haven't come to UT Logistics, you haven't landed. Basically, what I want to do is to invite our clients to come, see the professionalism, see the speed, see the customer industry excellence approach that we have, the customer service that we have, and above all, our pre-finance package for our clients, which has become the #1 priority for clients these days.
Next up are your concerns and comments. Fifi Taylor Wright. Iron Port is really an educative program. Please, I understand the Ghana Standards Authority through the Ministry of Trade and Industry wanted to introduce GCAP. Please find out if it is true and when will it start and how the major stakeholders are prepared for such a program. Robert from McCarthy Hill says, EOP, please find out from GCNet and SEPS whether duties on cars are going to be increased by 20% across board this year. Robert from McCarthy Hill again wants to know if it is true that DICs will cease issuing FCVRs to importers and customs will take over valuation of goods. Well, coming up next are shadows of vessels, those that are at the anchorage, those that are sitting in the port, and those that are expected for the rest of the week. We've always been advising you against those who claim that the ports, they are selling cars within the ports, and so follow them and they can offer you cars to buy. The ports of Ghana don't sell cars. However, a lot of you continue to fall prey to these fraudsters. Fortunately for us, our security men have been able to apprehend some suspects.
That's the answer. That's the answer to my question. Money can't send you. Don't interrupt me. Mama, what you got? I know what it is. But you know, my crap, mom, no, my mother was saying, my money can't. You about to prosecute me. That's what evidence.
This guy sitting here told us that his name is Emmanuel.
Send a man, Transia me, Menenacasai, and then a man Aide, above, and yes, I'm for police to in our office.
So we're not taking anything for granted. We're not pushing you to accept that you did anything wrong. The state authorities that are mandated to handle such cases of fraud, and then defrauding people by false pretenses, will be to handle the case.
Well, that plus many more come up next week. You cannot afford to miss it for any other thing. I have to thank my entire crew, Robert Nyantechi, also Joe Lavo, and the executive producer, Paul Asariansa, for this production. I also thank you for watching. We'll be back same time next week on this same platform. Thank you for watching.